I can't believe that I have to do this. Oh my god. I really didn't want to do this, mainly because I wrote a whole fucking blog about this before. But Shadow of the Colossus really is one of the worst games I've ever played. And the problem with the game is the fact that it's just completely uncreative. You know, I know that I get on everyone's back about this because this is the biggest thing that they always try to argue, is that Shadow of the Colossus has a story, which it doesn't. You know, you ask people what the fucking story is, and their immediate response is, well, it's this, or it's that, or it's this, or it's that. And I always get a different story for every single one. Like, one I got was that it was a story about redemption. Another one I got was that it was a story about a demon trying to take over the world. And another story I got was about how it's about this boy who's trying to save his girlfriend, even though there's nothing in the game that supports that these two people in the game, I guess two people, actually no, the main character and the girl he's trying to save are actually in a relationship. There's absolutely nothing that provides that provides that claim in the game. But you know, whatever. I can get past the fact that the game has no story or no characters if the gameplay was actually any good. And, you know, I've already written a blog. I'm going to put it in the description so that way you guys can read it, because I really don't fucking feel like going through this every freaking time or again as to why I fucking hate this game. Because their gameplay is even worse than the fact, is made even worse due to the fact that it doesn't have a story. The gameplay is terrible. With or without a story, it's terrible, but it's made worse to the fact that it doesn't have a story. Okay, here we go. I said I didn't want to, but I'm going to anyway. Like, what do you get in the gameplay? I mean, what do? You just go around fighting Colossus. That's it. That's all you get. Alright? You fight, what, 1 Colossus, 2 Colossus, 3 Colossus, all the way up to 18 Colossus, right? What's the big thing? What is this? Like, what else do you do other than fight Colossus in the game? Not a goddamn thing, because there's nothing else to really freaking do. The best thing about the game is that you can turn it off and walk away from it. That's what I've always said about it. But every fight is literally the same. And I cannot believe that there are people out there who try to defend a game that is so uncreative and so fucking bad that it just literally defies belief. I don't mind the fact that people like the game. If you like the game, that's fine. Please, continue to play it. Don't give a shit about what I have to say about it. Don't fucking worry about it. It's just me letting off some steam because I wasted hours of my life playing the thing. But if you like the game, that's fine. Please, enjoy the shit out of it. Do it for my sake. Do it for your sake. Do it to spite me for all I care. I don't give a shit. It's just a fucking game. So why is it that whenever I point out the fact that I don't like it, I always constantly have to get into a fucking flame war on goddamn YouTube or some other fucking internet site somewhere else? Yes, I know I sweat a lot. I just got done walking a couple minutes ago. So what is the point to this? I mean, Shadow of the Colossus defies belief. It's the only game that I know of that has no story, but yet every fan makes up a story for. It's the only game that I know of that is so fucking repetitive that it's literally a chore to play, that every fan will argue that it's fun to play no matter what. It's the only story that isn't a story, you know? Look, I can understand liking the mechanics of the game, or I can understand enjoying the game. Fine, please, like I said, play the game and enjoy it, but don't come at me and lie to me and say that there's a story to the game, especially when you and I both know there isn't. Alright? It's not that I wasn't looking for a story. I played through the game at least twice, and I have literally looked for a story. The whole time I played the game, I literally wanted to like the game going into it when I went to play it, which is part of the reason why I hated it so much, was because it not only didn't meet my expectations, it just completely failed to even attempt to meet my expectations. But that's beside the point. My biggest problem is that here I was expecting something, and I got nothing. And that's the thing. Like I said, I already wrote a blog about this. I'll probably end up reading it one day out loud and putting it on here just so that way people don't have to freaking read the blog themselves. All I want for people to understand is this, is that, yes, I do hate the game. And the reason why I hate the game is because it's a bad game. There's nothing good about it. The horse controls like shit. Okay, wait a minute. I know, I need to get into more. Let's back up a bit. Why is it a bad game? Okay. Well, it doesn't just have a lack of story or a lack of characters. Like, I don't care what you say. Nobody has any characteristics in that game. Everything is less than two-dimensional, or even less than one-dimensional. It's a non-existent entity. And it's there, but it's a non-existent entity. You understand what I'm saying? So, okay, whatever. I'm going to try to get past that fact that there are no characters and that there's no gameplay. I mean, that there's no characters and there's no story. I'm sorry. There is gameplay, but it's terrible gameplay. Terrible freaking gameplay. First thing I want to say about this game is that it's floaty as all hell. You know? I mean, you press a button when you jump. By that, what I mean by being floaty, I mean when you jump. You know, when you press the jump button. I shouldn't say A button, when you press the jump button. When you jump, your character like floats around for a second. You can get him to move around anywhere you want. And he just floats. He just keeps floating in the air. He doesn't really jump in an arc. It doesn't feel natural when you jump. Or when you walk around, it doesn't feel natural. He just slides around the floor. Or ground, I should say. Floor, ground, whatever. Same thing. You know? And trying to get on the horse is annoying. But I'll get to that later. Another thing is that what's the purpose of having a ground attack when you never freaking use it? What's the purpose of him having a slice attack when he's standing on the ground when he doesn't use it? Because the only way to attack the Colossus is to stab them in their weak point while you're hanging off of them. He does this downward thrust. There you go. That's it. That's the only attack in the game you need, because it's the only attack in the game you freaking use. Yeah, you have to use the bow and arrow on maybe one boss. You know, I'll give you that. No, two bosses. I'll give you that. Two bosses do need an arrow. Do need the bow and arrow, but they don't. There's no reason for it. Like, it doesn't do much of anything. It barely adds any variety to the gameplay. Not that it really is variety, because you're still trying to just climb up on the things after you're done shooting it with arrows. Okay, so this is every battle. You're trying to exploit the Colossus' anger, basically. The Colossus will attack you out of anger. And because it does that, it doesn't think about what it's doing. And when it does that, it will leave itself open for you to jump on it, and then you have to climb it, right? And then after you're done climbing it, you have to attack it. In its weak point, you know, which is annoying because the damn thing shakes around all the time. Like, your character will fly around the screen while holding on to this thing whenever he's climbing if the damn Colossus just takes a step. And in the game, there's this little pink, like, ball thing right above your health. And that's supposed to be your stamina. And without stamina, you can't continue to climb, right? So why is it that every time this damn thing takes a step, it takes away extra stamina? Well, that's a stupid question. What I mean to say, why is it that you have to find a certain path to climb up the damn thing? Because really all this game is just you finding out how to beat the bosses the way the game wants you to beat them, right? That's it. So why is it that you have to play it that way? And that's what I mean by not having any variety in gameplay. No matter what you do, you have to manipulate the game the way the freaking developers want you to manipulate it. You don't get a choice of how you beat any of the bosses. What you're trying to do is get them angry enough to leave themselves open for an attack. No matter what it is, that's what they do, and that's what they want you to do. Boom, boom, boom. So you're just exploiting their anger. Wow, whoop-de-fucking-do. Then the horse, the stupid fucking horse, which is probably the worst horse in the history of gaming, just keeps getting in your fucking way all the time. Climbing onto the horse is annoying. Again, back to the floaty mechanics. You try to climb on top of the horse, but since you have to wait and stand perfectly still while standing next to the damn horse, you'll mostly jump when trying to get on the fucking horse, because the same button to get on the horse is the same button that's used to jump. Again, there's like 20 other buttons on here, on your controller. You know, who cares if you're sliding around? Like, it's not like the developers didn't know what the hell they were doing. They knew that the game was floaty, alright? Because even developers have to play the game while they're developing it. I know they do. They don't just have testers do it, although testers give them better feedback, and that's why they use them. The reason for that is, well, when you write something, or you do something, or you make anything, it's harder for you, personally, to find the mistake you made. And trust me, I know, just read my blogs. But that's not even half the problem with the horse. The biggest problem with the horse is when you climb on it, trying to get it to move. Well, to do that, you have to press the freaking X button on the PlayStation controller, right? So here you are pressing the freaking button and nothing happens half the time. The horse will just sit there and just do nothing. The horse is completely unresponsive to any of your commands half the time. In order to get that fucking horse to move, you need to beat on that fucking X button till the damn controller snaps in two. I swear to God, that's what it feels like every time you play that game. Every time you play it, every time you get on the horse. It's annoying. It really is. I need to calm down. But it is annoying. It is really annoying to sit there and try to play this frickin' game while you're sitting here having this horse that is just a terrible fucking horse. And what's this? What's the last? So? I mean, what is in the gameplay that's worth even caring about? I mean, what, you got the camera? Oh God, I hate the fucking camera in the game. Again, cinematically speaking, the game looks beautiful. Well, I don't know if I mentioned that earlier or not. I've been rambling for the past few minutes, but the game does look beautiful. I'll give it that. But because the camera is always pointing away towards where you want to go, you have no freaking clue which direction you're heading half the time. So it is annoying to try and find a way to the boss, which wouldn't be a problem if the camera actually showed you where you were going and not going off showing you some cinematic thing that has nothing to do with what you're doing. Alright? I mean, what's the point of pointing at a mountain that's hundreds of miles away that nobody can go to? That's my biggest question about the game. What is the point behind that? Man. But again, back to the story, you know, I keep asking people what the story is, and I keep getting different versions, different things. I've gotten so many different accounts about what the story is that I can't actually remember all of them. I don't even know how many I've heard. I've heard more than I care to count, because that's how fucking annoying the game is. Again, I go into better detail with this blog I have that I will link to for you. But at the same time, good God, just realize that, yes, there is a reason why I don't like the game, and yes, it is because it's a completely uncreative waste of time. It's a waste of everything. Waste of material, waste of, money, and a waste of space. It's all the game has ever been, and it's all the game will ever be. I know it's just a rant. You can go ahead in the comments and attack and say, how dare you say this about, story. Well, here's the story, blah, 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 blah. And I would love for you. And if you actually can provide to me evidence that backs up your claim about the story, I'll accept it. I know you can't, but I'll accept it. So until then, whatever. Have fun. Keep playing the games you like to play. Fuck it, I don't care. It's your life. It's your time. You're allowed to play whatever you want. Don't worry about what the fuck I said. Peace.